Hey everyone, this is Liam of MindBuild77, and I have an exciting update about warp drive to cover in this video. So do you all remember, back a few years ago in 2017, there was talk about a warp drive surfacing, and this was provided by NASA. Well, it wasn't only NASA responsible for this breakthrough. To give us a little bit of history, back in 1994, Miguel Alcubierre first published his groundbreaking warp drive concept in the Journal of Classical and Quantum Gravity. He received significant positive and negative feedback. Most applauded his solution, which did indeed appear to create a working theory on how warp drive might be able to travel faster than light without violating the laws of physics. However, others were concerned in the amount of energy that would be needed for something like this. But that was all the way back in 1994, and they didn't have the technology or means to get that energy anyway, so it wouldn't have happened. But later in 2007, warp drive was further refined by engineer H. David Froning Jr., who among other things previously worked in the US Air Force. He published those refinements in 2008 and later released a 2019 book on his research, and that got the ball rolling even further. And both of these theories that I just talked about both took a giant leap forward in 2011 when a paper published by NASA scientist Harold G., also known as H. White, further improved on Alcubierre's 1994 original designs, dramatically reducing the amount of exotic matter needed to fuel the hypothetical drive from a Jupiter-size amount to something akin to the size of the NASA Voyager 1 probe. However, this is still a significant volume of energy that is well beyond our current ability to manufacture. This dramatic reduction in fuel requirements seems to indicate that real warp drive may be one day feasible. And that leads us to the present day, and there's a lot of interesting things that have been going on in the past year. It could be that one day in the future that they were talking about is now, because of the things that are going on in terms of warp drive. And what I'm talking about is that last year, a design for a warp drive was actually patented and it's being created right now. Like it's actually being made right now. One partial attempt to build a warp drive is being made by Nebraska University by adjunct professor David Pears and his company, Space Warp Dynamics, and he posted a recent series of these tests on YouTube. However, the company has only raised 3% of their target goal for this project. But that wasn't the end of H. White's ideas. Later in April of 2020, two engineers from Chicago, Jessica Galanis and Ethan Suchard, published a patent application for a warp drive using the updated Harold White designs, which, if you remember, were derived from the original 1994 designs. But their patent then flew under the radar after a month of lockdowns. And this design is consistent with Alcubierre's, whose solution, they point out, suggests a method for changing the metric of space-time and creating a space-time warp bubble, such that while from the outside of the bubble can advance in superluminal speed. All this meaning that from within the bubble, the speed is much lower than light speed, and the ship would be traveling within the bubble. The engineers were originally going to file this patent back in 2017. However, because the physics for this project were unclear at this time, their patent failed. Suchard, one of the engineers for this project, said that he spent the next 2 years going back and forth between the United States patent trademark until in 2020, they were finally able to make the deal and file the patent. And Galanis and Suchard's response to the patent being filed was, in quote, "By then, the United States Patent Trademark Company did not refute the fact that the patent is based upon a valid working theory, but I still said that I would need a physical device to prove the physics." But now, all this is being tested at Nebraska University. However, like I said before, the campaign to build such a device is only at 3% of the target goal. And the reason to why I think this is because in April 2020, when this patent was filed, many people were concerned about other things than just donating money, which is mainly due to the fact of their patent flying under the radar. But there you guys have it, a brief overview of the update that's going on in terms of warp drive. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. And what do you guys think? Do you think that it will come sooner or later? But thank you to everyone who watched this video. This is MindBuild77, signing off, till next time.